we just love having candidates like you who really understand what's going on. You're obviously very knowledgeable, very informed on the real issues that people are facing. So yeah, it's very enjoyable. And I can see, I'm just like watching the chat because Jen's taking the lead. I usually am taking the lead. So I like this for once. So I'm able to get the chat's reaction to you, and people love you. So data center. Okay. So yep. Are you doing data centers next?
It's not next, but it is on my list pretty soon after. So
all right.
I will be getting to it fairly soon. There was something that you mentioned in the Indivisible Town Hall. You mentioned something about a dark history that we have, and especially with regard to land. I would love if you could please elaborate on that dark history that you referred to, and why is that important for us to know as voters?
So in Colorado, this is kind of a hyper-local issue. So if you're not from Colorado, water rights is a huge deal to everything that we do in the West. So the Colorado River Compact is a coalition of all the states that take water out of the Colorado River. And if you are following weather out here, we had one of the worst snowpacks ever in recorded history. And so when you look at our two major reservoirs, Lake Mead and Lake Powell, both are down almost near what's called dead pool, where they're practically just not even there anymore. Water rights was something that was established, as the West was being won, and really what it stole water from was from our indigenous Native American neighbors. And so, despite the fact that they've been living here far before any one of us moved out west, their rights were pulled away from them, and those that continue to live on our Native American reservations aren't getting access to their water. And now we're even seeing it go even further, where you see corporations are starting to invest in these water rights as a way of commoditizing them, which is pushing up costs for each and every one of us. Because in our communities, development and water rights go hand in hand. You can't build if you don't have water rights. And if you have to pay extra for water rights, it means we're all going to have to pay extra for it. The comment was talking about our national lands, our national parks specifically. And so when we think about the fact of, and I'm a transplant here. I grew up in Salem, Massachusetts, where the witch trials happened. And I talk about this a lot of, like, when you talk about a dark spot in American history, the Salem witch trials obviously are top of the list of that, of the sort of discrimination and murder that occurred because of accusations of witchcraft. And we've got to be able to embrace and learn from that history. So when we think about slavery, we think about pushing indigenous peoples off their lands, and now we have an administration, a regime that has decided to whitewash our history and say, well, these things, we don't want to talk about those things. And I'd sit there and say, listen, if we want to be a strong nation, we have to be able to embrace those dark parts of our history and tell that full story so that we can learn from it, and so that our kids don't repeat that. And our kids understand why our Black and Brown communities, our Native American communities are impoverished, and why they struggle with multi-generational poverty, and to understand the privilege that us as a cisgender single white dude, why what that looks like of my lived experience is so much different than someone else. And we have to be able to tell that story so that we can recognize, again, how we move forward and learn from it and not repeat it.